Rachel. So Ryan Morgan is an entrepreneur and technology founder focused on expanding access to business ownership. He's the CEO and founder of Acquisition Network, a social marketplace and SaaS platform designed to simplify the process of buying small businesses by connecting investors, operators, consultants, and capital partners in one ecosystem. His entrepreneurial journey began in digital marketing before expanding into fintech, technology startups, and mergers and acquisitions. Can't wait to hear about that. Along the way, he recognized that while millions of profitable small businesses will be changing hands over the coming decades, the acquisition process remains inaccessible for many aspiring buyers. So, Acquisition Network was created to help close that gap by streamlining sourcing, due diligence, financing relationships, and operational support. So today, Ryan is building a technology roadmap that incorporates AI powered automation and emerging technologies to make small business acquisitions more efficient and accessible at scale. His broader mission is to help more people build wealth through ownership while supporting the successful transition of businesses to the next generation of entrepreneurs. Ryan is passionate about the future of entrepreneurship, alternative pathways to wealth creation, and how technology can reshape the way people buy, build, and grow businesses. Welcome again, Ryan.
What's
Welcome.
poppin'? How you guys doing?
Not much. How's Medellin today?
It's 70 and sunny every day, so I'm staring at the window. Hit the gym, had
Mhm.
breakfast, got chef making lunch in an hour, so can't complain.
Okay, chef.
Yeah, gotta I get yeah 3 square meals a day. Wake up on fresh
Okay.
sheets every morning, so it's
Hmm.
nice to live like a king.
That's that tech founder life, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Mhm.
It's not for everybody, but someone's got to do it, right? So
The fresh sheets are not for everyone. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it's not.
Or the
Yeah,
founder life?
fresh sheets every morning is not for everybody. Yeah, some people need to struggle and sleep in
Well,
their own sweat.
I hope we can make fresh sheets available for everyone worldwide, you
Let's do
know?
it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We should not be
And it
surviving at just food and water. It should be fresh sheets.
Fresh
right.
sheets.
But
Yeah.
also this is a reminder for some of y'all out there. When's the last time you washed your sheets? Maybe you need to go get those Tide Pods. Make it
Oh,
happen.
listen, gonna have moments for the dusty
Let's get
sheets.
into it.
All right, Ryan. So I we've talked before. We both went to Bucknell, different years. But I am curious before we get into what you're doing right now, tell us a little bit more about like your money story. What is the money story that you carry with you or that you've carried with you throughout your life that you've grown up with around what wealth is and what money is meant to mean and create?
Money story. So yeah, I would say my parents did not do the best job of educating me about money. They just did their best to get ahead, right? So my mom was a teacher in the South Bronx, which is the hood, and my dad worked at Bank of America without a college degree. So that was like, from their perspective, they made it, and so it was get good grades, play football, get a job. That was what I was taught, and I never got a job. Yeah, I went to Bucknell, had an interview at the bank, and then I sat at the park and studied marketing. And my parents didn't approve that. Yeah. So
Wait, say more. You got an internship in the summertime at said bank.
yeah, I just went in there and just didn't vibe with the corporation, and just had a feeling I was not gonna get along with people, and I had to find my own way. So as far as everything wealth, I had to teach myself, and it really all started through like network marketing. Like I broke my arm and my ankle in the same year, and then my first day back on my feet, my friend introduced me to this guy named Mark, and he pitched me on like the original like Amway, and like literally ever since then I've been pitching people. I was like, I need to like lead people and build my own team. Chased all my friends around. They all laughed at me. I did a house party at my for Christmas, and then I built a network on campus, and yeah, that all failed. And so ever since then, I've been building my own network. It's That's my story on money.
So this all started in Lewisburg.
More or less, yeah. I mean, I threw my party at the house, and then yeah, Lewisburg is. There's a picture on my Facebook of me. There's like 20 kids. They all agreed to join my team. We are gonna get a job over the summer and buy into this MLM, and then nobody did it. And then I had to go back that year, and everyone laughed at me. But now I'm a boss, so fuck off.
It seems like there's no trauma there.
No.
No trauma that hasn't been dealt with at least.
Well,
No.
I'm really interested in, you kind of skipped over this, but because I'm a mama bear, I am very interested to see how you and your parents navigated that conversation of my son who just finished college that so proud of, and I told everybody in the Bronx that he's going places, has decided not to get a job. And so could you like walk us through that moment and how you overcome or overcame?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was definitely criticized a lot, and um, yeah, like support was withheld for sure, and I just had to deal with it. So yeah, it
But you
was.
made a way.
Yeah, I
You
made a way.
figured it out.
Yeah, I figured it out. Luckily, I did have a place to stay. We had like the family home, and it was like everybody moved out, so it was, but there was like no heater running water, and like that was like their way of, they were like figure it out. But yeah, no heater running water. I had to like wash out of like a boiling pot. It was
Oh,
freezing. Yeah, there was
that's
a
old
point.
school
There was a
living.
point when I literally like didn't have a car, and there was a point where I couldn't even get a job. Where like I was, because I lived an hour north of the city, and the cost to get to the city was like $100, and I had like $200. So I literally had to figure out how to make money online or die. So
Hmm.
that was my
And
path.
that's what forced you into entrepreneurship, just because you're like, hey, this is not for me. And then I'm living the hard knocks. I don't want to go back to mommy and daddy. How can I make this work? Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yeah, and I also wanted to prove all my friends wrong.
Hmm.
All the
And
all
that
the
you did.
all the high school friends, whoever they are,
Where are they now?
working for somebody else, not in Medellin, getting their sheets cleaned every day.
It's the sheets for me.
Okay. So yeah, I I don't think, Charnay and I work with a lot of founders. I don't think your story is unique. Whether it's actual like survival, whether or not wanting to go back to your parents, whether to prove your folks wrong, whether you need self validation. There's a lot of a lot of reasons why people become founders. So tell us more about how you got into the ETA, entrepreneurship through acquisition sphere.
Yeah, the story is actually crazy. Um, so how I got in, I was running an agency prior where I would be third party biz dev for companies. So they would hire me to like grow them. I would like build a funnel, generate the leads, bring in a sales team, and I would get 30%. And I did that for multiple companies like in the Airbnb space, e-commerce, Turo, Uber. And then eventually I actually got referred from one mentor to this new pseudo mentor. His name was Quincy, and ironically happened to be an alum. And I was like, oh, I made it, right?
Mm.
So I met an alum. His name's Quincy. He looks like us. And he's like, Ryan, I need help promoting my 26K business buying course. And he claimed to have 75 million in dry powder, Chardonnay. And I was like, all right, I made everything my parents worked for, right? I didn't get a job, but I got hired by someone who went to the same college as me, who was black, at 75 million. And all I had to do was sell his program, bring deals to his group, and I was rich, right? Right. So I followed up with him for 6 months for him to pay my 25K fee. Right. He finally
Mm.
paid the fee. Right. And then he was ended up being a really annoying client. He was complaining constantly. I'm like, where are my customers? Right. I finally got him customers. I sent him 4 people to pay for that 26K program. I sent him like hundreds of deals, and then he ghosted me. Never talked to me again. And so that's when I was like, oh well, I see the opportunity in the business buying space, uh, but I can't rely on this one guy with 75 million. I have to figure it out on my own, and that's how
Mm.
Acquisition Network was created. And so Acquisition Network is a service where we bring deals to the individual investor and help them close. So yeah, it's like a really weird story. Like if it wasn't for a Bucknell alum hiring me, I never would have known about it. But they ended up scamming me for like $80,000. And
Mm.
that's the story. Yeah, he still won't take my calls. So he ended up
Oh,
creating one of his biggest
please.
competitors in the space. Yeah, because now I have like a 7-figure brand and I'm in direct competition with him. And like, he could have just had all of my marketing for him, but he was arrogant, or maybe he was just a fraud. I don't know. We should probably figure out what is Quincy doing right now. Let's see where he's at. Look,
It's not
let's
that
it.
kind of show, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Are
Okay.
we
Okay.
really,
Sorry.
yeah, are we really adding people? But
No. No.
here's the thing. It's amazing what you were able to build um with essentially like being scammed, right? So how many people have that kind of origin story? How many people can share that? Not very many, and survive. But Mandy, what are your thoughts on, like, was it a good thing that he was scammed, or was it meant to be? Like, what do you think?
I feel like this is part of the journey. And even in venture in the spaces that I'm in, I'm sometimes like, it's hard to know like how much money people actually have. And and so I find these spaces around entrepreneurship and around like large sums of money being talked about to be sometimes like I need to I have a double take moment. Like I think twice, um, because you meet people in these like casual spaces who are talking about large amounts of money,
Mhm.
but you can't necessarily like follow up and ask for like a tax return upon meeting someone that quickly. And often, if you're young, you really just want the experience, the apprenticeship, and so sometimes having that apprenticeship is just as important as the money itself, because being young you do have a lot of options otherwise. So all to say that it seemed to lead Ryan to where he is. um, and it's such an important space that I think a lot of us who grew up as corporate folks like don't even think about, and potentially a lot of our parents. My ex-husband is a contractor, and I often wonder like what's going to happen to his business when he retires. Your husband's a contractor, like what do we do with his business when he retires? And this is how America was built. So I'm curious, Ryan. As you got into this, it seems like it was based on this apprenticeship. You saw the opportunity to build revenue, but I'm curious to know like what are some things along your journey of working with small business owners that you've learned that surprised you?
The journey is most small business owners are not educated about the concept of acquisitions or exiting or really anything other than keeping their company alive and paying bills. Like most business owners just treat their business like a job and not an asset. So that's
Mm.
probably the biggest message that we need to deliver is that people need to from day one they need to prepare for their company to be sold just like they would sell their house. They wouldn't just like move out of your house and just be all right, I'm gonna go to Florida and not get a return on this investment. But for whatever reason, like business owners treat their business like a job and they just close it down when they could get a 6-figure check or a 7-figure check. Like, and it's sad.
Mhm.
They don't know. So yeah,
Yeah, because the usual story is that their kids are going to take it over, right? Do you feel like that's, or they just don't even think about it?
yeah. It's just they just don't think about it. Most kids don't want to take it over. And like one of my
Mm-hmm.
friends, like his dad had like a $30 million construction company, and it literally closed for nothing. He said he just closed it.
Well, he retired.
He just
Mm-hmm.
retired, yeah. Like he just closed it, and I was like, dude, you should never have to work a day of your life, like. But yeah, like his dad just he like, took the money out and was like, all right, and just it's not like they're not well off, but they should have 8 figures liquid.
What do you think
Yeah.
is behind that, Ryan? Like,
um,
why do you think that folks do that?
they just don't know. They just don't know. Most people start a business. They're just solving a problem. Uh, they're good at a certain thing. You know, they helped some customers. More customers came in. they ended the week with more money than they had, and they took their wife on a date and woke up the next day and worked. Like, they didn't think about making it an asset that could be sold, unfortunately.
And you
When
think that,
should,
go ahead,
oh,
Sharon.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
When should founders, operators, small business owners start to think about like preparing for that day, right? So a lot of times, yes, they're not educated on it, but like, let's just say they found out about it. At what point in the founder journey should you start planning or preparing?
Should be immediately. That's the big hack. Is if you're prepared from day one, then you're gonna have the best experience with getting out, and you're gonna be able to maximize the value if you have that information of here's what an end buyer is looking for from day one. It's almost as if like if you were going to college and you weren't preparing to graduate.
Mm.
It's like you go to college and you're like learning all these things and you just close and don't get your degree. Like, so you should prepare to get your degree, right? Like, show up on time, take your tests, study, like, do the work. Like,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm wrestling with this still, and I know that I've had plenty of time to think about this and think about all of the small businesses that make up our society and our country, and how big of a gap there is in knowledge, or how big of a gap there is in longevity potential, that is probably keeping a lot of families from realizing generational wealth just because they don't see themselves as people who can be potentially wealthy. And I ask a question of all of our guests. Is there a question about ownership, philanthropy, leadership, or community that you wish more people were asking? And you answered, why doesn't everyone believe that they can be a multimillionaire? Ryan, you said that. So
Yeah.
tell us more about that. Like, what is it you're grappling with this gap? If you could like sprinkle dust, would it just be that people have more wherewithal or gumption around what the legacy will be around their small business, or is there something else that you feel like needs to, some other root that needs to be addressed?
the root that needs to be addressed as far as people exiting or just in general about wealth creation.
Wealth creation
Yeah,
through owning a small business.
yeah. If I ever am blessed to have a child, one of the first books that he's going to listen to, he or she, is going to be The Science of Getting Rich. That's the book that has reprogrammed my brain, and I think everyone needs to hear it. What that book explains is the biggest reason why people are not successful is because they've been taught by the news and the media that opportunity is monopolized, opportunity is scarce, and has to be fought over. Whereas the truth is, opportunity is unlimited, and you have the ability to create whatever it is that you want. Whatever it is that is meant for you is cannot be taken by someone else, right? So there's no shortage of wealth. It all has to it comes through ideas, creativity. The book explains that literally like gold is like in the mountains and you can like conceive it. It's in the asteroids. There's like more money like in excess than we've achieved, but it's just our ability to get it. So be creative, don't compete. I think that's the biggest message that society doesn't understand. They think that everything is running out, and it's not. It's further from the truth. Like, it's never been easier to become a billionaire than it is today.
Mm. So tell us more about that. Let's transition more into your business and what it is that you help people do from like one side of the cycle to the other.
My business, what I do is I help everyday investors to buy businesses faster without them doing the work of finding the deal, networking with lenders, or managing the company. So the process of buying business is much more complicated than buying a house. Everyone understands the idea of buying a house. Like you know, you look at the mortgage, you make a down payment, what's your credit? Right? And then the value of the house is determined by things that most people understand. Is the backyard messy? How many bathrooms does it have? Is the kitchen done? Is the basement finished? Right? Those are all things that everyone understands when they're looking at a house. With a business, there's infinitely more variables, such as like where the customers are coming from, Where are the supplies coming from? How much are we spending on it? Is the owner like smuggling money to buy some strippers over the weekend, right? These are all like more variables that a business has that a house does not have. Now the thing is there's more opportunity. There's significantly more value, and so that's why an average person can't um, vet a business, and they don't do it successfully. And 96% of buyers don't get deals done because there's so many more variables. Our team understands the variables the same way that you would understand buying a house. And so that's what we do for our clients is we navigate all of the due diligence processes so they can make an informed decision, make the down payment. And the biggest difference with a business versus a house is you collect cash flow day one from that down payment and you're profiting immediately. So that's a big opportunity, but that's why, unfortunately, regular people that look like us don't understand.
Yeah. So tell us more about that, like on both ends. What are often things that need to happen before someone's ready to sell their business, other than, cleaning up where the cash is going, if you will. But let's start there with the business owners, and then tell us about like the buyers.
Yeah, with the business owners, you need last 3 years tax returns and financials. Like that's like the basic. So if you're not doing your taxes, you can't sell.
And how often is that the case?
That they don't have the taxes all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to
Yeah, it's just
be
basic
clear.
accounting. Like have your accounting, your books in order. Like if you want, you have to show like how much money did you actually make, not what you're telling us. Like what did Uncle Sam make off of the business? Like that's what the bank cares about as far as getting the loan to acquire it.
hmm And then tell us about the buyers. Like what kind of people are you seeing in your cycle now? Like what is the persona of person that's looking to buy a small business?
Yeah, the people that hire our team are ones that are successful in a field completely outside of mergers and acquisitions. So it's like a doctor or a lawyer, or it's like a general contractor, construction guy, someone who's like making good money, but they don't know how to navigate this space. They see it, they've heard the ads about it, but they're willing to admit that like, hey, like I'm not an expert in this space and I need to hire someone to do it. Whereas like people that have formal education, they're not. They haven't been the ones that buy our service. They think they can figure it out on their own. And so for those people, we created the platform where they can do it on their own.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
No, I was going to ask a similar question, just like for someone who's coming out of a 9 to 5 and they're like, hey, I want to get into this acquisition life. Like, what's a great way? Like, what's a starting point for any viewer out there? Heck, you could be talking to me, Ryan, who knows?
Yeah.
But what's the best starting point? Is it to just contact you and hop right in, or like what's the
Yeah,
deal?
to be qualified, like this needs to be educated to like every 14-year-old when they're like in freshman to be like, look, this is how you retire. You need to have a 680 credit score and you need to save 100K. And like
That's
these are
it.
all. This is a goal that everyone aims to achieve. They're like, but then they're buying a house. Houses don't make you rich anymore. You can't buy a house and it's not gonna like double in value, so where you can like create wealth. Most houses are like a prison now, where like you're just like stuck paying that mortgage and you can't leave. So it's literally the same concept. It's like get a 680 credit score and save 100K. If you do that, you can buy a business, and you could like
You do that.
Huh?
Sorry, you do that, and then you can get clean sheets every day.
You get clean sheets every day if you move to Medellin. We can. That's a separate offer. Like my rent's 1,700, so you just need to know. You got to just go. You guys got to know. So yeah, we'll have a different offer for that.
It's a different offer.
That's a different
Okay.
offer if you
So
need some concierge
Ryan,
services. Yeah, sorry.
you said if you want to retire, you need to have a 680 credit score and save 100K. That's just to retire, you think, or to
Well,
buy a business?
That's to buy a business. Like that's enough to buy a business, and that should be like taught to every freshman when they're 14 years old. Like that, if people knew that, they wouldn't f off their money and their credit and live like they'd be like, wait a minute, like I just need to work like 5 years, get a job, work 5 years, build your credit, and you literally could do it. And that's what's required is to be qualified. Yeah, 680, and then make a down payment. You want to be able to buy a business that's at least $1 million asking price, that has 6 to 10 employees. That way,
Mhm.
if somebody quits, there's other people in place to run it. So you don't want to get a business that's too small. Some people think, well, I'll just start with like a little business and work my way up. No, you don't want to do that because a smaller business is higher risk, uh, because there's less employees, less cash flow, less predictability. So you don't want to deal with any like there's like e-com sites for like $30. Like don't buy that. It's not don't yeah. Getting something little is like very likely to fail.
Okay, so go ahead, Charnay.
I have a question. So, all right, we're looking at least $1 million in value, the company or more, of course. But what's a business that people just aren't clocking, but very profitable from what you've been seeing and the clients that you've had? Like, what are some businesses that people probably should look more into, and it may be like super boring or just under the radar, but actually very profitable? Profitable.
Yeah, so the best businesses to buy are home services. So there's like HVAC, plumbing, roofing, construction, because those are recession proof. These are things that people always need, right? If your air conditioning goes out and you're in Arizona, like you're gonna fix that like today. Like you're literally gonna move money, right? If your toilet isn't working, you're probably gonna fix it, right? So if you have a business in that space and it has customers and it's been around, like that's safe, easy money. One of the best deals that we have, uh, Andrew, he put 125K down, making 39,000 a month. That's with a commercial cleaning company. Why is cleaning so good? Because post COVID, there's literally like laws that businesses have to clean their business, like, or you're like, right? So there's literally
Mm,
laws that like this service must be paid for. Therefore, if you buy a business that has those customers, like that's safe, easy money.
Okay.
I'm
So
also thinking like pest control
yeah,
or other necessary businesses.
yeah. There's pest control, um, heating, cleaning. Those are the like I said, roof. If roof is leaking, you're gonna fix it, right?
Mhm.
So we focus on those. But definitely, I would say the under the radar people aren't saying enough is cleaning, commercial cleaning.
Noted.
Noted. That's
Noted.
the best deal that we're. That's the best example right now. Oh, another one that's making a ton of money. It's a little more morbid, but funeral homes. Like, you can't you can't really go wrong with that. Like, literally, people are dying every day. So if you have a business, like one of our clients has like a 27-year-old funeral home. It's making 500K a year. It's like it's not gonna stop making money. Like it has the funnel. Like
Mhm.
people know if grandma dies, we go here, right? Another dove example in the same space is like home health, right? Like elderly care, right? So people are living longer and longer and longer, right? So it's like someone's got to take care of them.
Tell us, man, this is so good. Uh, another, did Charlotte, I'm going to transition. Do you have another question on this topic before we transition?
I'm just happy that you mentioned funeral homes because ever since I was like a freshman in college, I said like I my dream is to have a family business, which is a funeral home. And like I've already mapped all the things out because if you just look at, I know we're sidelining here, but if you just look at the black communities have their own funeral homes. And in where I live, in the South Jersey region, there are two main funeral homes that everybody goes to. And like the service is what the service is going to be. The everything else is kind of cookie cutter and the same. And I have like so many ideas around how to elevate that experience for our loved ones. But most importantly, like everyone in my family would have a role and a job. So when you mentioned that for any of the viewers that are my dear friends and family, they probably already was like, okay, Charnay, you need to tap into those funds and call Ryan after this because I have been talking about owning a funeral home and just like having that be like my retirement plan. But also just it just made sense to me and it seemed like an untapped field. But low key, from my research, the streets are saying, at least in New Jersey, it cannot be verified. Allegedly, it's kind of like not mob ties, but to get into the business of
Mm,
funeral homes and having the licensures and all of those things. The reason why you don't see a lot of different funeral homes popping up, at least in our region, is because it's like a lot of politics around who's owning that space and playing in that
That's
space.
because it's guaranteed money. It's like literally going to the hood and being a new drug dealer. It's like, you know, like they're not gonna want,
that's
like, if there's, like you said, there's two of them, and you pop one up, like, it's guaranteed that you're taking their money, like, straight
it's
up,
trouble. You're
like
asking for
straight up.
trouble.
Yeah, you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes. You know, I'm from Jersey, so well, you're from New York, so you already know what time it is.
Exactly.
Listen, Charnay, I feel like there's an ETA in your future.
I think
Like I could
so.
so see you running a funeral home, particularly with
Yes.
those frames and that exact shirt and those hoops
Mhm.
of like we are here
Well, you
to
know who I would
celebrate.
put? I would put Big Sandra out there in front. You know, so
That's her mom.
yeah, that's my mom, Big San.
I am obsessed. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, nothing.
Okay. Uh, I do want to transition a little bit. I'm going to try to suction cut my brain off of the vision of Charnay running a funeral home with like a funeral home cafe. You got to get that book I just put on the bottom. I'll put it back up just in case. A love song for Ricky Wilde. She's the heir to the throne of a funeral home business, you know,
Okay.
and spirits ensue. Okay, so Ryan, um, the conversation you seem to most want to have is about the meaning of life, the impact collective action can have on this global economy, and how society has been intentionally fragmented to encourage subjugation rather than enlightened abundance. Say more.
Yeah. So yeah, like my purpose in life is to eradicate poverty with technology, and it may or may not happen in my lifetime, but that's the message that I'm going to deliver to the public. Uh, yeah, like the goal with Acquisition Network, like we're never exiting. Like there's never a point in time someone's gonna be like, "Hey, Ryan, here's $1 billion." I'm like, no, like I want to literally take this company public and provide the people with the ability to invest into an infrastructure that empowers them to rise from the middle class. And there's gonna be people that don't like it,
Mhm.
especially as a black man. Like if I live to 65, that'll be pretty sweet. And I hate to say that on a
Are
recording.
65. That is low, Ryan. I want to return back to one of the conversations we had last year around this exact thing. When I was starting Sanctum and talking about this concept of rewealth, of like how we as our generation can be thinking about how to retire, which is no longer going to come from a guaranteed pension. It's no longer going to be a 401k that expands. We don't know if we're going to be getting Social Security. And so we have to start thinking about the ways in which we can continue getting and having passive income as we age. And this is an area that I feel like a lot of other cultures do really, really well. Like if you go to a lot of places in West Africa, a lot of the grocery stores are owned by like the Dutch or like other European based countries that just like come in and buy places. And they're the one these are the businesses that are in our community. These are the people that show up at your house when things go wrong. They're the places you go when your family has passed on. And it's so we are intentionally fragmented to the point where we don't even think that this is something for us unless like you maybe like Charday, like you came up in an entrepreneurial family. So I guess tell us more about what this impact can have as a global society.
Mhm.
Yeah, my COO doesn't like it when I say this because he's more grounded. Like, I believe what we're doing is the most important invention ever created because it's the only one that provides the middle class with the ability to become the elite. Uh, what I was talking about with the like, there's like huge companies, right? Like Elon Musk just became a trillionaire, right?
Mhm.
Like we're people are putting money into these companies like SpaceX, but like what is SpaceX doing for you right now? Like people invest into SpaceX because Elon and the rockets and Mars, but like at what point in time is that going to
Mhm.
help you pay for your diapers, right? And so what I'm saying is that there needs to be a company where people can put money in, and then that company helps those people to like live an easier, more effective life. There's Amazon, there's Uber, there's like all these big tech companies, $1 trillion organizations. Like I want to create $1 trillion organization that empowers the middle class. Like where there's like physical buildings where they can meet and be like, hey, do you understand that you can save 100K and retire and make 10K a month without having to work? Like people don't understand that, right? The message is not out there. It's intentionally not out there, and so that's why it's gonna have to take, like I said, a black guy like me to let people know. And there's not like there's not people are not gonna like it.
Mm.
They're not gonna like it. That's why I said what I said about me living to 65 because yeah, the people like me don't usually last that long, but it's okay.
Oh, let's
Well,
not get morbid.
y-
Let's
yeah.
not do that. We're speaking life
Well, I'm
in
just
this
putting the message
call.
out there. We have to create $1 trillion company that helps regular people buy companies, and I'm just saying, black men have been off for lesser visions. Let's just be real. Like that's just the reality.
Yeah.
I'm aware of history. Like that's my background. So like what we're trying to do has never been done before, and it needs to happen. And people are not going to like
And
it.
you, and you bring up a good point, Ryan. A lot of people in our community who have made it very rich get rich off of doing the less sexy stuff. Like if you look at Jay-Z, terrible example, but the way he makes a lot of his money is not through music, it's through the other things that he does.
Yep.
And you didn't point to this directly, but us thinking about, where our income is coming from and then how do we grow that income into actual wealth, which is what I think that you're getting at, is like in the middle class, there are absolutely an abundance of opportunities for us to have passive income and to build massive amounts of wealth that we're not thinking about, or we don't see them as opportunities that can create legacy.
No, exactly. Middle class, we've been programmed to borrow money, so to go into debt to hope to get a job, so we can work for someone for the rest of our lives, and that company can fire us at any time for no reason.
Mhm.
Why not? How about this? How about you go into debt to purchase cash flow and acquire an asset? Doesn't that sound like a way fucking better plan? But like we like literally like the government should say, hey, 18-year-old kid, here. Like right now, it's the 18-year-old kid goes into 200K in debt to hope to make 70K a year. How about you go into 200K in debt to make 150K a year and have 1.5 million added to your net worth? Like that's literally, yeah, that's the difference between rich families and us.
Mhm.
And like that's my
Speaking of
goal.
families,
Huh? Yeah, go.
yeah, speaking of families and our community, just curious if like any of your cousins, aunties, uncles, like how have you been able to kind of um offer this type of service to your own family or community? Like how has that been?
Unfortunately,
Sometimes
unfortunately, no. They're still watching. Let's just say that. And that's the problem. That like with us, like it's like you know is seeing is believing, and yeah, and I found that with like just even investors, like it's kind of sad that like most of my investors are not black. And that's just it's
That's a
just
whole nother, you touched on
it's
such a good point. It's both generational.
yeah.
It's a very generational thing. And I do think that the generation before us, not everyone, but at least those of us who have parents who had the same job for 35 years or worked at the same company for 40 years, seeing their kids or seeing the next generation do something completely different is hard. It's the same thing as if you are an educator and your kid goes into music and is like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make this music thing work. And a lot of times those families don't really support their kids until they see it done, which is a hard thing for a lot of us to deal with, because what you're doing is so relevant to any family that it, because of those those stories, those family stories, it definitely does shape how financial decisions are being made. Would you say?
Yeah, 100%. Like, if I listened to my parents, I'd be poor, or I'd be
Mm.
mediocre. I'd be broke like my sister.
Oh, not on sis now. Not too much on sis. Big sis, no sis. I don't know. Let's protect the sisters.
All right, you're right.
Let's indeed.
Protect the
You're
sisters.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you're right.
Because if bro got it, if bro got it, I know you got her. I know you got her.
Of course.
Maybe there's a position in the company or something like that. Maybe you're gifting a business, legacies in a trust somewhere.
I love this idea.
That is a whole other conversation. But I love you, Ashley. Have a good. I hope you're doing great.
Well put. We'll stay right there. So, Ryan, let's talk more about your actual platform. So,
Yep.
there's three different ways that people can use your platform. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the three people we serve are investors, people that don't want to do any work and they just want to hire our team. And we conduct the search, we do the due diligence, we manage the company for them. There's consultants, there's people who want to be investors, but they don't have the 680 credit score and the 100K down payment. These are the workers. These are the people that are actively finding the businesses, inputting the data into the software, conducting the due diligence for them, structuring the post acquisition management plan. And then the third is the business owner himself, who has an asset of value that needs to be evaluated and acquired. So all three can participate in their own way.
Mm. And which would you say are the most, which of those three are you the most excited about?
I'm the most excited to start working with business owners. We haven't launched the campaign directly where we're consulting the owners from the start of the acquisition to the finish. Like right now, we're only talking to owners that are ready to sell it to sell. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to work with business owners that don't have the intention of selling today because that's where we're going to be able to create the most value. One of the best things we could do for a business owner is actually turn them into an investor first. That's what
Mm-hmm.
more owners should be thinking of is like, hey, you have your contracting thing, buy a business underneath it, and then when you sell, it's even more attractive because now you've got multiple entities, and that's going to differentiate you from any other contracting company. If you're like, yeah, I'm a contractor, but I also own this laundromat and this commercial cleaning company and this landscaping. So there's four companies and the customers are aligned. And so now you instead of you getting a 3 times multiple, you can get an 8 to 12 times multiple because you have a portfolio. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with business owners. I also
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to extend the same information to tech founders. You got to think about how many tech companies get funded $1 million and then a year later they're out of business. So if more tech founders knew that they could buy regular boring companies to where like one deal pays the overhead, now they have more time to work on their unique technology, their product, their invention that's going to impact the world. So we're going to be able to add a lot of value to venture capitalists and tech founders so that they stop losing their money by diversifying the way that they grow their companies. Because you got to
I
think
am
like all the
thinking all
biggest
of my
companies
life
in the
decisions.
I'm sorry, I just want to say like the biggest companies we all know, like Facebook bought Instagram, right? And like Elon just bought Twitter, right? The biggest companies in the world have always bought companies. What we need to be able to do is educate small business owners about the idea of buying other small businesses. That way they're going to
Mm-hmm.
understand, wait, I should be prepared for exit. So, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
It does indeed. It does indeed. And it also answered the question that I didn't ask, which was perfect. Thank you for doing that. Is our audience is a lot of people who are in corporate roles or working for small or medium nonprofit organizations where they're in circles of 401ks, ESPP, and golden handcuffs. And so the idea of something like this could potentially be a bridge for people of like, you don't have to leave your job, but you could absolutely buy a business. And a lot of people who follow me are in the venture capital space, and those who are, interested in building their wealth think first the sexy stuff around venture capital, which can be such a bet. And it is a bet, it is a risk. And it sounds like this is a much less risky venture for people to be thinking about.
100%. Some of our best consultants have full-time jobs. So that's the thing is you can become a consultant, work on a deal with one of my clients, learn the process, close a deal, make 12K, get 5% equity in a company without putting up your credit and capital, and you learned exactly what to do, and now you can go do it yourself, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
I would highly recommend that for corporate folk that don't have the 680 score, that don't have 100K. The acquisition consultant is just 6K, and you can finance it for 1 to 3 years. And with that program, like I said, I give you access to my investors, and in 6 months you can close a deal and make 12 grand, double the value of the tuition, and now you have an invaluable skill, right? So with that model, I'm literally teaching people how to copy my business. Everything from
Mm.
how do I get investors to pay me up front and give me equity? How do I close the deals? How you can close it for yourself? How can you recruit people to work for you on commission? Like I have a job post where there's like 1,500 interns that are willing to run around for me, and I could show someone how to do that same thing, how to leverage other people's time, how to leverage other people's money to create wealth faster. Most people are not where they want to be financially because you're relying on only your efforts. You're relying on the knowledge that you have and the 24 hours. The reason why I'm in a better position than most people is because I have 80 investors plus that are allowing me to use their money, and then I have like dozens of people running around doing work for me. And
Mm.
yeah, other people can learn that skill. It's not like rocket
Amazing.
science. I
And
didn't learn this in college. I just talk to people and I negotiate. It's literally just network marketing, but for private equity. So that's like I would say the highest transferable skill I can provide to someone is the premise of leveraging other people's time and money to get further ahead faster.
mm. And Ryan, this has been such a great conversation. It kills me that the hour goes by so fast. Let's say someone's watching right now and like they're like, oh, I think I want to do something like this. Before they even reach out to you or before they start like getting serious about becoming an entrepreneur through acquisition, what's something they should be thinking about? Or do you have any other books that you recommend? Or like how should they like make that mental pivot?
Mental pivot. Um, Mental pivot on the idea of buying a business versus working for yourself. I would say start thinking about being a business owner versus like you don't want to like the clients that do the best are the ones that are already doing something on their own. And so that's why I created
Mm.
the consultant program. I like the cheapest business to start is a consulting business. So you're able to get much better rates from the bank, and you're able to negotiate with sellers better if you're able to demonstrate that you have experience and value outside of just doing the deal. And so the best way to get that experience is to, like I said, become a consultant because literally it costs $0 to become a consultant. You just need to be able to have expertise or advice that you can provide to somebody. If you don't have that expertise, then you can work with someone like me that has like a whole bench of people that you can leverage. And so you could start making money by connecting the dots and saying, oh, like you have this problem. I know someone who could solve that for you. So like start
Mm.
developing that skill of problem solving and you'll be a much better buyer. There's a
Mm.
lot of
One
marketing
more.
out there saying like how to buy a business with no money down. Like it's all out there. These LBOs, the only people that are able to do a leverage buyout are successful consultants, people that have resources and value and strategies to the seller. Say, hey, oh, did you know you're not doing this with your Facebook ads? I can do this, this, and this. So I'm going to ask you for 30K off on the deal. So if you don't have any,
Mm.
if you don't have any of those, if you don't have sauce, you're not gonna get the steak. You know what I'm saying? So I would say the biggest thing that people they like it's not just enough to have the 680 score and the money is you need to have some business skills because you're about to be a business owner. You got to think like
Mm.
you're coming in and like this business has been running. There's like 15 people working and now they have to listen to you and you've always had a job. Why should they listen to you just because you made a down payment? Like they literally could all
Yeah.
quit and like hate you. So I
Mm.
would learn like I said business skills, people skills. So like like the basics, how to win friends and influence people, by Daniel Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich. I would learn some sales skills like persuasion and influence. So like one of my favorite books for that is there's Go for No. There's Closer Survival Guide by Grant Cardone. Um, I would learn copywriting. I learned copywriting from a man named John Benson. So
Mm.
learn some skills. You don't have to do everything I just said, but like have
Yeah.
some level of business acumen. And so what I would say is there's three hats for every business. There's marketing and sales, there's operations, and then there's fulfillment. Like get good at one of those three things based upon your background.
One last question.
Yeah.
For anyone who has a parent who owns a small business, what do you recommend, or what are some things you recommend for that person to start thinking about, maybe encouraging their parents to think about selling a business, or like asking about their exit plan?
Yeah,
Can be a
so
tricky conversation.
yeah, it's like, Mom, when's the last time you did your taxes? Um, you'd be like, Mom, like, do we have a general manager for this business? Like, if you went on a 3 month vacation, would this still run or would it not? And so if it's yes, then you're not ready to sell. So you should hire a general manager. Uh, and it's also like the big question that buyers will ask is your customer concentration. So you don't want to have any, like, if 30% of your revenue comes from one customer, then that's like deemed as a huge risk as an investor. So you would say like, hey, like, how are we finding new customers that could pay us as much as this one? Those are like,
Mm.
so to summarize, I would say, like I said, operations, finances, and then customer concentration. Those are things that you want to focus on to be prepared and look deemed more valuable.
Mm. Sharday, any final questions from you?
No final questions. I'll definitely be in touch, since I'll
Holla at your
likely
boy.
be opening up that funeral home. But if anything, I hope the viewers today took some notes down on all of the fantastic book recommendations. I think we could do a special, like Ryan's favorite book list by Sanctum
Mm-hmm.
um, in a few. I'm sure we can spin that out in the next couple of days, but I think you offered great advice, great starting points, of course, great book recommendations, but also you have a really bad personality. You know what I mean? So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the rock star energy all the way from Medellin. And I'm hoping that, at least people can take away, everything from starting off without a job, finding an opportunity, getting scammed, only then to hit, rock star millionaire status with businesses and opportunities to share the wealth. But most importantly, here at Sanctum and Noir Impact, we really focus on how we can of course, have that level of economic mobility for communities that look like us. But most importantly, like that shared wealth. So you talked a little bit about that at the end and like how opportunities are endless, abundance exists. We just have to tap into it. So really appreciate the conversation today.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys.
Likewise,
Thank you so
Ryan.
much. Give me a follow
Yeah.
on my new
Right.
page. I've posted 70 reels in the last 3 weeks. 3 days.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
grinding.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you,
Yeah,
how can people follow you, Ryan?
follow me.
What are your handles?
My IG is Ryan Morgan Biz Buyer. Follow that one.
That's easy to
I'm
remember.
cranking. And then you can
We'll
look
put
me
it
up
in
on
the
LinkedIn, Ryan Morgan.
All right, we'll put it in the show notes. Ryan, thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
great rest of your afternoon. Enjoy those fresh sheets and lunch, freshly made.
I
Very
will.
jealous.
I really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. See ya.
Yeah, you too. Ray Bucknell.
Bye.
Ray.